history is full of stories of brave men. But some stories end not with courage, but with silence. In May 1845, the British Empire launched the most ambitious, most expensive, and most technologically advanced expedition fleet in its history. Their goal was as challenging as going to the moon, to find and map the Northwest Passage. Sir John Franklin was at the helm of the ships. An experienced, respected, but now aged polar explorer. With him are 128 of the Empire's most distinguished men. When they left England that day, no one thought it was a farewell. This was the beginning of a victory lap. The ships that were said to be unsinkable, the food stocks that were said to be inexhaustible. They were invincible. But the Arctic Ocean has no mercy for human arrogance. The ships were last seen by whalers in Baffin Bay. They waved. They gave the message, everything is fine. And then, they vanished, as if they had fallen off the edge of the world map. Not a ship, not a letter, not a single breathing soul remained. Where did the 129 men disappear to? How did two warships equipped with modern technology melt into the ice? And most importantly, thousands of miles away from civilization, in that icy hell, when hunger begins to gnaw at their minds, what did they do to each other? Today, we're opening the dark files of the Franklin expedition. Welcome. When ships became stuck in ice and could not move, the crew's greatest security was in the ship's hold: 8,000 cans of canned food. Soups, meats, vegetables. Enough provisions to last 3, maybe 5 years. But there was a terrible truth they did not know. The food that was supposed to keep them alive was actually a ticking time bomb that was slowly killing them. Stephen Goldner, who won the tender, was in a hurry to complete the orders. The lead solder used to seal the boxes had been applied carelessly and abundantly. Lead insidiously seeped into food. This was not a poisoning that happened in one day. For months, with every meal, with every spoonful, the men ingested high doses of the neurotoxin. Lead poisoning doesn't just rot the body, it disintegrates the mind. Paranoia sets in. Hallucinations occur. Aggressiveness increases. While it was minus 40 degrees cold and a pitch-dark polar night outside, inside those wooden walls they were trapped in, the men's sanity hung by a thread. They were beginning to lose trust in each other. Their captain's orders no longer made sense, perhaps because their minds were foggy too. April 1848, Sir John Franklin had died. More than 20 officers and crew lost their lives. The remaining 105 men made the most desperate decision imaginable: abandon ship. They decided to march hundreds of miles south to the Back River. This wasn't a rescue plan, it was a slow-motion suicide. When archaeologists tracked down these men years later, they encountered an unimaginable sight. The men were pulling the boats like sleds. But the sleighs were filled not with food, but with silver dinnerware, heavy curtains, books, and ornaments. With the mental fog of lead poisoning, they don't need the things that will keep them alive. They had taken with them items that would protect their identity as English gentlemen. We ran out of food during the hike. Hope is over. And humanity's oldest taboo was broken. For years, the indigenous Inuit people told the story of white men eating each other. England refused to believe it. Even Charles Dickens said, the civilized English sailor would not do that. Charles Dickens. But bones don't lie. The cut marks on the bones found are the shining marks created by boiling the bones in a pot, called pot polishing. They all cried out one truth: the hunger was so unbearable that the bodies of their dead friends, it had become a food depot for those who remained. At that point there was no more rank, no more honor, just survival instinct. When HMS Terror was found in 2016, researchers couldn't believe their eyes. The ship was so well preserved that not even its windows were broken. It looked like the crew had just gone out. Yet, that ship had been sleeping at the bottom of the ocean, in its silent graveyard under the ice, for 170 years. The Franklin expedition showed us that nature is not an enemy to be conquered, it reminds us that there is a power that must be respected. 129 men set out to fill the white space on the map. But eventually that white void swallowed them up. How do you think they felt in their final days? Was it a tragedy or the price of arrogance? Share your thoughts with me in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to Onyx, able to continue opening such files from the depths of history.